Hi everyone, I'm Catherine and today I have an update for you for my Panda palette challenge. And this is the palette I'm talking about. It is the Catrice the Shanghai Collection Eye and Cheek palette. It had 6 eyeshadows in it, and each of these eyeshadows contained 1.5 grams or 0.05 ounces. And it also had 2 blushes in it, and those 2 blushes contained each let me see, 2.5 grams or 0.08 ounces. Now, the eyeshadows were, there was a matte cream shade in it. I also had a shimmery yellow golden shade. Then the next stroke was a taupe shade that was matte, and there was a taupe, rosy champagne glittery shade or shimmery shade, and there was a dark brown shade with a little bit of shimmer, and also a taupe shade that was very shimmery. The blushes were both coral shades. They were one was more pink on the pinky side, the other one was more on the orange side. And I've been using this palette for wait, we have June now, so I've been using this palette for about 2.5 months. And I chose this palette because at the beginning I was not sure how panning an entire palette would be going for me, but I think I did alright. Yes, this is all completely empty. You can see a tiny bit of a dark spot here. I don't know what that is, honestly. If I rub at it with my fingernail, it goes away. But if I go over it with a brush, nothing happens with it. I'm incredibly happy about using up this entire palette. What I did not use up was down here there was an eye kohl, a black eye kohl. I took those out, the eye kohl. When I don't really use applicators, I have my brushes when I'm at home anyway, and I use this palette at home only. And the eye kohl unfortunately had dried out. It was very, very dry and hard on the eye, so I could not properly apply that, so I decided to not use the eye kohl. But I used up everything else. I used all of the powder shades up here, the blushes and the eyeshadows. The blushes obviously took me longer because it was just very hard, and it was just so much more product in there, and I don't need that much. The eyeshadows, however, they were very powdery, and I like the colors in general. When I dipped my brush in, however, and that's probably why I was done so fast, there was a lot of kick up, which I didn't mind too much because I tried using the kick up as well whenever I could, but when I had to go back in a final time, I just had kick up left in the palette, and that was a little bit of an issue because I store my palettes upright. So it always messed up the entire palette, so I would usually just use a very big fluffy brush that I don't use for anything and just go over it real quick to get the majority of the powder off the palette. I absolutely love this palette. I was very happy with it. I think if I had used this more often before the Panda palette challenge, I don't know if I would have appreciated these shades as much. Mostly because at first, you may remember, I did not know what to do with the yellowy golden shade, and Cherish, or Pretty Pistol 86 here on YouTube, recommend I layer it, and that was what got me going with those with that shade, and I ended up really, really liking it. I was so happy that I actually had this shade that now I'm upset I don't have it. And I think, however, I have a gold highlighter, a yellow golden highlighter that is very subtle. And I think I can use that in a similar way. It might just not be as pigmented. So I'm actually thinking about repurposing that highlighter that I haven't used as a highlighter in ages for an eyeshadow, because I like the way it changed the colors I used underneath or over top of the golden yellow shade. And the other shades I really loved as well. I like that the dark shade, it had a little bit of shimmer in it, but if you applied it and just tapped off the brush properly, the shimmer was not on the brush anymore, so I could decide for myself if I wanted to have the shimmer because I was using it on my lid, or if I wanted to get rid of the shimmer because I wanted to use it in my crease, and I prefer matte crease colors. So that was amazing, and I absolutely love the blush shades in this palette. Because I did not get to film this video yesterday, I decided to take a picture. I decided to take a picture yesterday of the of my look, and here you can see the blush, and I just absolutely love how it gave me a little bit of a glow, but it was not too much. So I'm really sad that I don't have those blushes anymore, because on this look I mixed the last bits and pieces of the two blushes I had left together, and it just created a different color, and it was just amazing. Like today I'm not sure if I like my blush and my contour too much today, just because I was so in love with the blushes that I was using those last weeks, because I use those every single day, and today it's different. I don't know if I like it as much. I guess that is something that I just have to get used to now that they are gone. I'm using different blushes now, and application is different. So I really like this palette, and honestly, let me give you a shout out, because this palette was a gift from a dear friend of mine. My dear E, thank you very much. I so appreciate you getting me this palette. I think it was a birthday or Christmas. I don't remember. I'm sorry about that. I don't remember, but I've had this palette for quite a while, and I'm really happy I had this. Just said that it's now gone. It's really the downside of this palette, because I cannot repurchase it. It was a limited edition, so I can't even get a new one. So yeah, I know that some people or most people actually chose a lot bigger palettes for their Pan That Palette challenge. But for me, I was afraid that if I was gonna use a big palette, I would not see much progress, or I would get bored with the shadows and with the looks I could create. So that's why I did not choose any of the more common palettes, like the Urban Decay palettes, for example, or what else is there? Some people use the IT Cosmetics palette, or I think I saw someone even use one of the Sleek palettes. And I now understand how those people chose those palettes, and they're still apparently very happy with what they've got to use. Because if I think back to this palette, I had fun. I did not have to substitute in much, because the crease shade, the creamy shade was gone fairly quickly, but that was the only shade I had to substitute. Everything else I could just go with what I had in here. And I know for sure that at the end of this year, I will announce a new Pan That Palette challenge for myself, for one of the many palettes I have, because I have quite a few, and I'm just sad I don't get to use them as often. I mean, I might not set my goal for finishing up the entire palette within a year, for the simple reason that I have many palettes and I enjoy those palettes. I want to switch it up every now and then, and just maybe use a different palette for a week or two. But in general, I now know I can do this, and this was very, very good for me. What I also liked about this challenge was that it showed me what colors I could use easily, what colors I might have to work with a little more. The Shimmery Taupe shade in here was a color that at first I really had to work with, because it was more on the grayish side, and gray is not a color that really suits me. If you look at my eyes today, I have a little bit of gray in my crease. I used MAC Copper Plate, but I had to warm that up with a warm brown tone, so that it would work. And that is something I had to figure out with that gray shade. But eventually, if I use the yellowy golden tone, that worked perfectly. So yeah, these were all things that I had to work with, and I had to figure out, and I'm glad I did. I'm so happy I actually decided to join this challenge, even if I was way late. I think I started in, when was it, at the end of March or the beginning of April. But this was amazing. I just absolutely am happy I did this, because it is rewarding to know that I've used up an entire palette, and knowing how many other palettes I have in my drawers, because I have I think I have 16 left now that is gone. But knowing that I have so many palettes that I am capable of going through if I actually set my mind to it is really rewarding. So thank you very much, Amber F, for doing this challenge, for doing it again, and for having so many other wonderful Pan That Palette challengers who keep inspiring each other, and who really helped me do this and who helped me decide that I want to try this at least. So that was it for my Panda Palette Challenge update, or finale actually. I am very happy that I did this, and I hope you enjoyed these videos. I will link the previous videos down in the info box if you want to check up on them. I guess that was it for this video. Thank you. Bye!